as we are about to enter another year, another election year, a big presidential election at the end of the year, what do you think is missing from the national conversation when it comes to the Democratic Party?
Well, I think that there's a lot that's missing from the conversation, but I think that you know we really have to start talking about what the party looks like for the future, like what we were just talking about. I think that the frustration that a lot of people are having is that, like you said, it's like Groundhog Day. Like this just like keeps happening over and over again. And I think that if we can paint a picture forward of what it looks like after Biden for people, I think that's going to invigorate people to want to get involved. I think right now all they're seeing is, okay, well, what after Biden, right? Like what happens next? Is it going to be Kamala? Is it going to be one of the same people that we've seen for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years? And I think that if we can show them that path forward, we're going to have a lot better chance at getting them to come over to our side for this election. Because, like you said, President Biden is the presumed nominee at this point. So there's not a path forward at this time for another candidate. Would that have been great? Yes. But unfortunately, I think it's just too late. Ballot access is pretty much over at this point. So I think that we need to work with what we've got. And Biden really has to not just paint that picture forward, but he needs to talk about those key elements. Taking away Medicare and Social Security, the fact that Trump has even said that himself. Talking about the elimination of women's rights entirely, which also talks about the fact that, the Republicans are trying now to make it so that women can't even leave the state for a medical abortion, which would completely, could kill women. I think that he needs to talk about the environment, and I think if he can do all that while also talking about the fact that Trump is continually making sure that the top tenth of 1% is getting more and more and more, it's going to help him, because all Trump is talking about right now is he's using Bernie Sanders populist style messaging. I just saw him talk 2 days ago, actually, here on Forbes, where he was at a rally in Reno, where he's talking about that Biden is terrible for the working class because he's trying to eliminate cars and he wants electric cars, which are going to take away union jobs. That's the kind of messaging that we need to combat with.
And the way Trump has boiled it down, how do Democrats boil it down? Because right now, right now in politics, it seems like Republicans are really on the offense and they have messaging more down pat than Democrats.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, they do. And I think that we can't stop what their messaging is. I think that that's really important to note, because I think Democrats are always trying to think of ways where they can, quote unquote, stop their messaging. I think that we just need to go into it knowing that Trump is going to continue on this populist messaging because it worked for him before, right? If it was a Bernie versus Trump election, it would be very interesting because the messaging would be so similar. I think people would almost be confused, right? But the difference is that Trump is a liar. And we need to start talking about that too, of like the fact that, 24 people in his close orbit have said that he's dangerous. That is things that we need to start advertising on. As I said, all of these issues with the Medicare and Social Security, I think that these are things that people don't, it just hasn't been mentioned. I don't think that Biden has mentioned the fact that Republicans are trying to do these things. And so we need to turn it around and say, actually, Trump is not good for the working class. And this is why. Talk about the infrastructure bill, talk about all of these things that he should have done and didn't do. And then I think we can start to slowly perhaps get back the trust of voters. We also have to be so focused on women, because it looks like Trump is losing support with women, and 4 points is not a lot of points. We can easily make inroads by infiltrating some of those groups. And I think we need to go to the college educated women and women in general, and we need to start talking to them about what the complete loss of its bodily autonomy looks like, not being able to go out of state, but also other things, right? Being literally put in jail because, a baby that you wanted died in your body. Like it's literal cruelty, and talking to them about those issues.
As we look into 2024, what's one thing you have your eye on right now?
I mean, for 2024, I think that we need to rethink not just the messaging, but the strategy. And so we have done a lot of work at the local level and also, all the way up to the US Senate to really start to push candidates on getting to the doors and talking to people face to face. We know statistically that talking to people face to face works. The problem is that we have this issue in our industry on the Democratic side. I would say it's very prevalent. I'm not sure if it's more prevalent than on the Republican side, but we have a lot of consultants in this industry that push for strategies that don't make sense for winning, but make sense for lining their pockets. Some of those strategies are incredible like robust digital programs that are, I would think, like completely overused and useless spend is what I would say. The saturation of TV, which, I mean, most people don't even watch TV anymore, but again, these are very high profit margins for consultants, but not good for winning elections. The things that are good for winning elections are that door-to-door strategy. It's that face-to-face conversation. It's calling people. It's getting back to our roots of what organizing looks like. And I think that right now we need to really focus on that. We need to get to college campuses and we need to register people, because the reality is that if you're 18 to 21, you can even vote in the last election. So you might not have an opinion on Biden, right? Which could be very helpful for Biden. And so we need to get out there and we need to talk to those folks and we need to get them registered.